Welcome to another episode of Sacred Reviews, and in this episode we tackle a fan-made Yu-Gi-Oh game known as Duel Network Cheater Invasion, created by a fan that may or may not have issues with the site Duel Network. And I'll be blunt in calling this game a horrible waste of time because of how frustrating the final boss battle is. I just spent an hour this morning just replaying the boss battle again and again and again in order to beat it. But I guess I should say the details on why combat is so terrible for the gameplay section and should finally move on to discussing the story. Story-wise, this game is about you entering the first yearly Duel Network tournament, but another duelist by the name of Moon is obsessed with destroying the tournament because he was banned from Duel Network. The reason behind this ban wasn't specified to my knowledge, or memory at least, but I'll assume it's because he's a racist bigot that's also fond of curse words. As such, his reasons for going after the tournament are probably rather petty and underwhelming, and any attempt at appearing deep or sophisticated in his reasoning is entirely empty platitudes. And to make matters worse, he commands an army of cheaters and trolls, which he has unbanned so they can enter the tournament and wreak havoc upon it while he prepares his ultimate plan for destroying Duel Network's credibility forevermore. Gameplay-wise, this game is broken into two sections, to be honest. The first half of the game is based on selecting the correct options during dialogue trees in order to advance. Failure to find one of the correct paths through the exchange will lead to a game over. So I advise saving for every duel until you master the various paths, or find at least one path that will get you through the duel successfully, and I imagine in some of the duels, there probably is only one correct path. Outside the dialogue trees, there are a few turn-based battles, but all these battles are terrible in my opinion. The optional battle to get the Dark Hole spell card at the card shop is too easy, while the final boss battle is overly difficult and relies on luck over skill. And the main reason I say it requires luck is the only way you'll beat the final boss is if you somehow luck out and aren't affected by any of the negative stat effects that can be cast by Dragoon in the second half of the boss battle. If you get hit with either Confusion or Paralyzed, it's game over, and you'll have to replay the final boss battle from the beginning all over again. And while you have a card that can stun enemies, its effects only count towards a single attack. As such, you'll find it to be relatively useless beyond its ability to potentially cripple an enemy's ability to dole out damage, but this effect only applies to physical attacks, which makes the card's versatility rather low in any of the matches you'll have, since the most dangerous monsters in the first half of the final boss battle can cast powerful spells that can easily cut your health in half, while the second half of the boss battle is all about status effect spells. Normally I'd split these two sections, but there isn't that much to say about this game. Generally speaking, the game doesn't really seem to feature any original artwork, and instead relies upon the default enemy designs and character sprites. There isn't anything wrong with this per se, but it only increases my opinion that this game is entirely skippable since it doesn't even offer eye candy for the player, really. Sound-wise, the game is alright, I suppose, but the game is probably lacking in terms of background score. The game itself only is around an hour or two in length, and most of that time will be spent on figuring out the correct paths through the dialogue trees, and then hoping you get lucky in the final boss battle. Duel Network Cheater Invasion is a fan-made game that should just be ignored in my opinion. What little fun that can be had is entirely undermined by frustration and disappointment.